Welcome to Leaning Into Your Leadership from Seasonal Pathways. I'm Robin Stevenson, the CEO and founder of Seasonal Pathways. And here's what I really want to share with you today. There is a great quote in the book, The Three Commitments of Leadership. And it says, leadership is the art of creating new realities. Just recently, I was having a conversation with a colleague, and we talked about the fact that we knew the aftermath of COVID was going to create a new normal. Things were not going to be the way they used to be. Normal was never going to come back, and there was going to be a new way of doing things. And I think we all thought that by now, a new normal would have been established. And what we're finding is it hasn't. I don't know if it's a psychological matter or if it's just the realities that the world is completely different now. Now, while I truly believe that leadership can have amazing rewards to people, mostly intrinsic, but also extrinsically, it can also be incredibly frustrating, and it can be incredibly lonely and sometimes even painful. And as I've been studying this idea of the rewards and the pain of leadership, I'm really recognizing that a lot of our pain comes from not being clear about who we are, what we want, why we want it, and what we need to do to get where we want to go. Often, when there is an issue at work, when our leadership is questioned, when a process or procedure is not followed through, the reality is the problems stem from confusion, from misunderstandings, from not being clear about the what, the why, and the expectation, and the how, and the support you might need or your team might need to avoid that issue in the first place. Today, I want to plant a few thoughts in your mind about clarity, in particular, the clarity your staff has about their responsibilities. So, the first thing I want to ask you is to think about why you are there. Why are you the leader in the position that you're at, in the school you're at? What is it you're looking for there? What is it that you want your customers and your clients, the parents and the children, to come away from at the end of the day or at the end of their stay at your school? Once you are very clear on your why you're there, the next thing to really think about is how are you communicating that? So, how are you recruiting, hiring, training, and onboarding new staff so they are very clear about what your expectation is, what the purpose of their role is, and how they are going to be supported in that role? Once you, as the leader, are very clear about your purpose and how you're communicating the expectations, responsibilities, and support of the roles you're hiring people for, you're going to have a much more clear idea on how to set up your teachers and your programs for success. The larger your staff is, the more likelihood you're going to have a middle management team that is going to help you with leadership. Might be an executive team, it may be just teacher training, it may be lead teachers that are helping with training. Regardless, you may want to add an extra step in this process, and that would be to you get clear first, you share the clarity and ensure your leadership team is clear, and then you take it to the staff. In the initial process of going through this system, you're going to find out where your team really is not clear. And you need to think about that. Is that your own leadership that needs to be strengthened in an area? Or is it that maybe the vision's just getting lost every now and then? And what kind of things you need to put in place so that that always stays top of mind to your staff. The value of having everybody on the same page is that when you get new staff members, you go through the orientation, you go through the trainings, you go through the onboarding, and this consistency of clarity is constantly being shared while you go through each of these stages. It's being shared at staff meetings. There's constantly a question and answer. Are we clear? What does that look like? What does that mean? To make sure everybody's on the same page. This will help eliminate a lot of problems. It might even help eliminate some of the gossip that's out there because you're making sure everything's very clear at all times. While this is a very simple system to explain, It's not an easy process to put into place. There's 4 major steps. 1, you get clear yourself. 2, you make sure your leadership team is clear. 3, you, together with your leadership team, decide how you're going to share the information with your staff, make sure they're on the same page. Everybody's clear about process, policies, anything you can think about for your school, especially starting with those things that are very unclear and very inconsistent now. And then the 4th aspect is making sure you put it into your onboarding process. I would suggest thinking through how you want to go about this process. And we have several blogs and more articles coming up on this specific topic. This could take you a year or even more to do an incredible job of setting yourself and your school up for total success and clarity. So why do you want to go through all of this work and all this pressure to get this done? It's because you care. You care about your staff. You care about a quality school. And when you care that much, you set yourself and everybody else up for success. And you set yourself up and everybody else for an environment where they want to stay. Longevity is important, and especially in our field. So where do you start and how do you get this done? Make some quarterly goals, break that down into monthly goals, break that down into weekly initiatives, and daily tasks. Be consistent in the process. Make a promise to yourself. Leadership is about keeping promises. Make a promise to yourself and others that you're going to follow through and make this happen. Find somebody on your team that you can work with this, be accountable together, visualize what the end result's going to look like and what it's going to be like to work in an environment where everybody's on the same page. They know what they're supposed to do. They know you're there to support. The fear is gone, and the joy is in the journey that you are on together. Hey, thanks for joining me today. I hope you got something from this podcast that is going to be of great value and support to you. Please leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing and if this is resonating where you are in your leadership. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the podcasts coming up. If you need more support, check us out at seasonalpathways.com.